Street Smart here is another game being played using the SNK 40th Anniversary Collection. I actually recorded this 3 years ago, but it took so long before I could record the Mega Drive part, which is why I'm only just doing the video now. Little story to the game, just a karate man named Karate Man and a wrestler named Crusher, who won't be appearing in the arcade playthroughs because he's locked as a second player, taking on a series of fights across America. The game plays more like a beat 'em up than a fighting game, despite only fighting 1 or 2 opponents at a time. You can move in 8 directions and can jump, punch and kick, with combinations of direction and attack resulting in different moves. As said, since I'm doing this alone, I can only play as Karate Man. The first battle is against Bobby Brown, and the thing I remember most is trying to figure out why the music was so familiar. And that's because the theme for the first stage would later be reused for the multiplayer in the first Fatal Fury, back when the 3 main characters didn't have their own themes yet. As for Bobby, he's nothing special. I can often get him caught in a loop of my advancing elbow followed by an uppercut, or glide along the floor throwing out roundhouses. The opponents have no health bars, but they start blinking red when near defeat. Once Bobby is down, he gets picked up by a tiny ambulance. Each win also results in gaining the affection of an unnamed local woman. For stage 2, I'm against Slippery Sam Santana. And Slippery's right, he can get out of my gliding along the floor while spamming one attack strategy and retaliate with his own variation. Until he gets me against the wall, then I can do mine properly. I get better at the timing to keep him in that combo, it usually only being ruined because I accidentally get him in the throw instead. And of course, I also have the advantage of unlimited credits. He literally cannot win unless I quit the game. Sam gets carried off to hospital and a woman literally emerges from the rubbish bins to wink at the player. Out in the desert next against Mike the Muscle McDermott. This guy looks about 50 but is apparently 8 years younger than Sam from the last fight. Being so huge, Mike finds it easy to just pick me up and throw me, or he can grab me for several punches to the face. Of course, because I have unlimited credits, I have unlimited faces, so he can mess it up as many times as he wants and it won't matter. He is a pain to approach though since he's so much bigger with longer limbs. It's a very long fight this one. I get a punch or 2 in, he gets several to my face, then repeat. 3 minutes later he finally drops and a woman offers me some water. I am very rude though and don't even turn to look at her. Stage 4 at the beach is against a palette swap of Sam who goes unnamed in the original arcade version. That means I don't have much to say since this is just a more aggressive repeat of the second fight. There are several clones of the Muten Roshi from Dragon Ball in the audience. That's something. He gets taken away and Karate Man snarls at the woman, I suppose for winking at the player and not him. Stage 5 is against Larry Legbreaker Lubinski. That is a very haggard looking 19-year-old. He's one of the more acrobatic opponents, flipping into me and following that up instantly into a throw. He also gets on all 4s and crawls around to escape, like the famous Mugen Homer Simpson. Like every fight, it becomes me figuring out the timing to get this guy in a long combo, and then using my unlimited credits to outlive him. This stage's adoring fan is a brunette palette swap of the one from the first stage. Stage 6 has me at a casino fighting Jake the Wrench. He's a head swap of Karate Man who uses a limited selection of his moves. He's also the fastest opponent so far. In typical anime fashion, this guy is only 40 but looks about 70. I don't think I need to describe the fights anymore, they all go the same and all take a few minutes. I break Jake's ancient 40-year-old hips, and this woman's fishnets are drawn in a way that when she moves, it actually messes with my eyes. She also seems to find beating up the elderly just the hottest thing. Stage 7 is in a bar with me against Antonio Crybaby Palermo. He can grab you in a couple holds and that's about it. I just can't get the nickname though. I assume he's the bouncer, so surely giving him the nickname Crybaby will make him less respected and less likely to be taken seriously. I was waiting to joke about them getting an ambulance inside the bar, but they actually thought about it this time. The fan this time is a palette swap of the second fight. Stage 8 has me against the gigantic final boss, Tiptoes Tommy. I honestly can't tell if he has a cyborg hand or he only wears 1 glove. Being so huge, he has amazing range. He can also advance while slapping me in the face like a sumo wrestler. He takes a while to deal with, but his fight goes no different than any other. How did they fit him inside the ambulance? He's the same size as it. I get blown another kiss by the final fan, and all 8 of them surround him in the stadium like it's some sort of cult ritual, all while Karate Man continues to look disgusted. He does a victory pose while 3 of them blow endless kisses, but that third fight one is still adamant on making him take a drink. Street Smart is just kinda forgettable. I understand that my unlimited credits may have let me get away with playing less strategically, but considering the Mega Drive port has limited continues and I got through that, I don't think not having it would have changed my opinion. There's just not a lot going on. The only interesting parts to me is how it relates to later SNK games, the theme that reappears in Fatal Fury 1, and the implication that Karate Man may or may not be a young Takuma Sakazaki from Art of Fighting. And here's the Mega Drive port and the reason it took me so long to make this video. This port is a little expensive and I also don't own a non-PAL Mega Drive to play it on. Then when I allowed myself to use emulation for some games, I had this video scheduled for the same spot that would be taken by Knuckle Bash, because I balls up the recording and ran it with a little postage stamp of the playthrough and no time to re-record. But anyway, this port changes things up a bit. Karate Man now wears orange instead of white. But in terms of less important stuff, Crusher can now be played by player 1, there is one more fight and some existing ones are changed, no ambulances, posing with the women is now a separate screen after the fight, the entire soundtrack is different, and finally we have a new betting system. Before each fight I can bet as much money as I want on my next fight. Betting on myself means I must win the fight without losing a single life or I lose my money. So I can bet on my opponent if I know they're a tough one, get my ass mangled, win after that and still get some money. Another change is a point system. After every fight I win, I gain some bonus points to add to my life, power or defense. Life and defense are pretty much the same thing, so it's a choice between making yourself more durable or making it so you defeat your opponents quicker if you're confident you won't get hit much. I generally maxed out my life first and then started pouring all my points into power. So let's cover those fights. Fight 1 is still against Bobby, Fight 2 is still Sam, Fight 3 is still Mike. The unnamed Sam palette swap is still Fight 4 but now has the name Brown. Larry is still Fight 5 but now you fight him on a boat for some reason. Fight 6 removes Jake and replaces him with 2 palette swaps of Bobby, Max and Joan. Antonio is also removed from Fight 7 and replaced with a pair of Mike palette swaps, Mac and Bear. And Tommy is still Fight 8. However, we have a new final boss for a 9th fight, Mr. K, a massive boxer who we fight on a train. His attacks do a lot of damage, but it's also quite easy to get him locked into taking a series of advancing kicks. I actually think he's easier than the fight against Tommy. I lost quite a bit of money as Karate Man, which only got me the ending where he gets a girlfriend and an expensive car. But as Crusher, I played better and bet better and ended with over $36 million, which gets him 4 girlfriends and a floating apartment because I see no walls or windows behind him. I actually think the Mega Drive port is a little better than the arcade original. It's a shame to lose 2 unique opponents, but the betting and upgrade system adds a bit more to the game. I remember the experience of playing the Mega Drive version far more than anything that happened on the arcade version. I'm still not a fan of the game, but I did find it an improvement.